Wednesday night, Kawhi would come through huge in a winning effort, absolutely carrying the Clippers down the stretch. Nobody was stopping Kawhi on either of these drives with the game in the balance. The result of this game would be controversial, with the NBA's last 2-minute report deeming that a foul actually should have been called on this play, which ended up being the final play of the game. But regardless, for better or for worse, a win is a win, and this would just so happen to be a much needed win for the Los Angeles Clippers. You guys heard me right. I said a much needed win. This Clippers team has all of the talent and all of the potential in the world, and yet as of late, they've struggled to just string together wins. Guys, we have to talk about what's been going on in Los Angeles, but first, going to events with family and friends has produced some irreplaceable memories for me. I really can't overstate how much I love to attend live events. Now, while I do love going to events, the ticket buying process can be a real pain. This is where Game Time comes in. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all of the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. Guys, Game Time is amazing. They have great last-minute deals which are offered even an hour after an event starts. They have all-in prices, and they have their lowest price guarantee, which is clutch if you're like me and you're just out there trying to find the best deal possible. In fact, Game Time wants you to get the best deal so bad that if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Guys, take the guesswork out of buying tickets and use Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code COOP for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code COOP for $20 off. Huge shout out to Game Time for coming through and sponsoring today's content. When the Los Angeles Clippers traded for James Harden, there were a lot of people who thought that the Los Angeles Clippers were taking on this mind-melting risk. And to be honest, I can't really blame those people, because the truth is that it's been a rather chaotic past couple of years for him.
We're just not good enough. We don't obviously chemistry, talent-wise, just everything, and it was clear.
Zeke staying in front. Ball gets away.
What is
And
James
Sadiq
Harden
will take it
doing?
away from Harden and drive and dunk.
He had a brain lapse.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again.
Now we have to ask ourselves, why would the Clippers see the chaos that has surrounded Harden and not only want him, but also be willing to give up assets to get him? Well, for one, everything that has transpired with Harden hasn't solely been on Harden. And two, the Clippers knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. The Clippers had the mindset of, hey, we already dumped a ton of firsts to put together one of the best duos in the league in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but they're injury prone and definitely not getting any younger. Who knows when we'll get another opportunity like this, so why not trade for a former MVP who has been one of the greatest offensive engines that the game has ever seen? In the words of James Harden, this man isn't the system player, he's the system.
I'm not a system player. I am a system.
Essentially, the Clippers' win now window was closing, and Harden's value had sunk so much in Philadelphia to where the Los Angeles Clippers felt like the system was well worth the risk of trading Marcus Morris, Rocco, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first, an additional first, a 2029 pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. Now, the Harden saga in Los Angeles would start a little shaky, with the Clippers losing their first 6 games, but once things settled down, they'd hit the ground running, going 31-8 in their next 39. In fact, this team was so good that at one point they were 26-5 in their last 31. This stretch would be something to remember for Clippers fans. The Los Angeles Clippers were looking amazing and like they were the team to beat out west. The Clippers felt for real. They were even outpacing the Boston Celtics for the best win percentage in the league, which was in large part due to their ridiculous league-leading three-point percentage during this span of 40.5%. When you have stars like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, and you shoot the ball as well as the Clippers did, and you at least play with reasonable effort on the defensive side of the basketball, you're going to win a lot of games, and that's exactly what the Clippers did. This team was looking like an absolute force out west. Out in Los Angeles, the vibes were so elite that Harden had Kawhi doing things that we had never seen before. Harden had Kawhi showing emotion. Now, those same vibes that we've been talking so much about just haven't been the same as of late, and rightfully so. In the Clippers' last 23 games, they have unveiled a side of the team that many Clippers fans have feared. In the Clippers' last 23 games, they've gone a disgusting 11-12, looking nothing like the team that had that elite stretch of ball earlier this season. Things have gotten so bad that when Harden was asked if the Clippers were the team that had an elite stretch of ball earlier this season, or the team that had gone 18-22 outside of that, this is what he would say.
You guys are 18-22 outside of that 26-5 stretch. Which one of those kind of tells the story of this team, or is the truth somewhere in the middle of that?
We don't know.
Harden's answer wouldn't even surprise me because the vibes have been so off in Los Angeles recently that the universe isn't even giving this team the benefit of the doubt on feel-good moments anymore. The ironic part of Harden trying to manufacture a feel-good moment for this team is that if the Clippers consistently closed out on shooters with this effort, then in their last 23 games, maybe they wouldn't be in the bottom 8 in shots contested per game, and also maybe they wouldn't be second to last in defensive rating. Saying that this team has struggled during this stretch is an understatement, and if you ask their head coach Ty Lue, this team might really be their struggles. When Ty Lue was asked why this team has been in a funk, he straight up called this squad a 500 basketball team. When he was asked why his team is a 500 basketball team, he'd say, maybe that's just who we are. I love Ty Lue being brutally honest and the occasional troll that he is, but if that's who this team is, that has Westbrook, Harden, PG, and Kawhi on it, then that falls on your shoulders and you're probably going to get fired. Which if Ty Lue does get fired, I just know that Doc Rivers is going to hop on a podcast and be like, I absolutely called that one. To get back to this Ty Lue exchange, when he was told that his team's talent says that they aren't a 500 team, thankfully he low-key bring everything back in.
The talent says a lot of things, but we're just going through a tough time right now. So, like I said, I feel confident. You might be baffled, but you're not in the locker room, so it don't really matter. But for our guys, like I said, we feel confident. We take care of what we're supposed to take care of, like wins start piling up. And so we have the talent, like you said. We are good enough, and we got to play better.
I'm really glad that Ty Lue offered some confidence for his squad towards the end there, because to me, it sounds like there's even some internal doubt about how good that the Clippers can be this season. If there really is this internal doubt among the organization, then I really can't blame anybody for doubting this team. For crying out loud, the regular season is reaching its conclusion and the Clippers have players out here saying that their team still doesn't have an identity. Mind you that this team has also struggled to beat winning teams since the All-Star break, going just 2-9 against teams with a winning record. There's no other way to put it. Things have been looking ugly in Los Angeles, and there's a small chance that they might just somehow be even worse than you think. Recently, John Hollinger alluded to the fact that there is a chance that Paul George, who has the ability to enter free agency at the end of this year thanks to a player option, could be playing basketball elsewhere next season. To quote him, "Keep an eye on Paul George. Presumably, if there was a max extension sitting around for him, he would have signed it by now. I think it's fair to say that a couple of cap room teams in the East are monitoring this situation." Keith Pompey echoed a similar sentiment, saying that the belief is that the Clippers are unwilling to meet Paul George's expectations for his next contract. He'd also say that the 76ers are closely monitoring the situation, hoping that the Clippers let George slip away. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, and Joel Embiid. How many games is that team winning? Now, before people get mad, I'm not saying that it's happening. I'm just curious to how good that you think that this team would be. Now, even though I think that Paul George doesn't leave Los Angeles, that doesn't change the fact that he has a player option for next season and that Harden is a straight up free agent. And as we all know, regardless of if it's Harden's fault or not, he hasn't exactly been the most loyal superstar as of late. Imagine being the Clippers, investing all of these assets into Harden, only for Harden and Paul George to both leave this offseason. If these players were to leave, what would this mean for a Kawhi Leonard who has looked out of it recently? My guy Russell Westbrook, who also has a player option for this upcoming season, can only do so much at this stage of his career. At this moment in time, there is strong potential for disaster in Los Angeles. Now, the good news for the Clippers is that Russell Westbrook is back. They have needed his defense, and they for sure have needed his energy. More good news is that if the Clippers were to handle business right now, that they'd be able to secure home court in the first round, and in the words of Ty Lue, this team could flip a switch when the playoffs come. Remember that we've seen a Ty Lue team do so before. It's important to note that the addition of Harden has allowed an elite playoffs riser in Kawhi to coast, or better yet, conserve energy way more than he would have been able to do so this regular season than if they didn't have him, which in energized playoffs, Kawhi is one of the most dangerous players in basketball. I don't know guys, let me know what you think about this Clippers team as we draw closer to the conclusion of the regular season down in the comments below. Are they contenders, or are they your stereotypical pretenders? Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.